Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, so we have the Three of Cups, all about abundance. I love this depiction of the Three of Cups, especially because the cups are made of pomegranates. They also remind me of the goddess Artemis. Right? Not the Artemis that looks very much like the huntress Diana. But we have, and what is her name? I have to, let me see. What is the name of the... Ephesus. Ephesus? I don't know. Artemis of Ephesus. How do we say that? I don't know. I'll have to look it up after. But this is the goddess that, I don't know if I'm allowed to show an image of her. You can look it up. It is spelled Artemis of, and it is Ephesus. So this is believed to be a statue of fertility, right? Because there are all of the mammaries, and you can imagine similar to what this cup looks like, right? And so it is the mother goddess. It is the nectar of the gods. It holds the greatest, blessing, sought after thing in all of magic, in all of mythology, and that is immortality. For what reason, I don't know. I am the last person in the world that would want to live forever. But that's what this is all about. The amaret, the dew of the gods, the ambrosia. So it is a time of plenty. It is a time of, feeling good about your circumstances, about things that are coming to you, things that you are putting out, and everything is really flowing in your direction right now. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to spin the bowl, and we're going to see what the tea leaves want to tell us. Okay, and let's take a look. We're gonna just kind of turn the bowl here and get a look on all sides. And I want to say thank you so much and welcome to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the reading. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. And, I just want to let you know I really do have the greatest... respect and the greatest feeling of privilege, really, to do this kind of work and to be able to share these messages and so on and so forth. So thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I want to start up here. It looks like we have some kind of game being played. It could be, immediately I just thought of like field hockey or, ice hockey. It doesn't have to be hockey necessarily. It could be like golf or something like this. But I feel like this is something that you would do with a friend or maybe a family member, a sibling, maybe one of your parents. But I do feel like this is something that maybe you used to do when you were younger. Maybe it was like some kind of sport that you were involved in. But I do think that you're coming back around to the idea that maybe you need to have more hobbies or passions or, having certain things that you can go and do and not worry about life for a little while, right? You get so immersed in it, you forget about the bills and the health and the, aging parents and whatever, the repairs and the schedules and all the things, that keep us up way into the night sometimes. So we need something. And I feel that you are realizing that you need something to go and do so you can decompress. So I feel like it's almost kind of like you're calling on all of those things throughout your histories that you found enjoyable, and maybe deciding that you're going to get back out there and start trying some things. Maybe some of the old things, maybe some of the new, right? Where maybe you used to play like golf, but now you're kind of interested in trying like pickleball, something like that. But I also feel like there is a very adventurous spirit kind of right on the horizon. And I feel like it's almost like something has just turned, in the snap of a fingers. And you suddenly are starting to feel more like yourself again. And now maybe this is the change of seasons. Maybe something has happened. Maybe you got a raise, or you're in a new relationship, or maybe you left a relationship that was not working. You were feeling kind of down and, oppressive kind of vibes. And, I don't know about you, but if I'm in a bad relationship, and especially if you're living together, and we're always arguing, we don't like each other, but, we're financially tied or whatever it is, or you just don't want to have to go through the process of moving and starting over again. I get it. But it's like you are so full of that, whatever that is between the two of you, that chaotic energy, that, contempt or resentment, or, just annoyance, being annoyed all the time. You get off work, you go home, and you're annoyed immediately. Heck, you might even be sitting in the car just waiting, thinking, I don't even want to go in. I know it's going to be a fight. I'm just going to sit here for a while. That kind of living is rough. I think a lot of us have been there. Okay, so you're not the only one if this is where you're at or where you were at. But, it's really up to us to make the decision that we need to kind of, separate. And so maybe that is what's going on. And what happens when we separate from things that do not serve us well anymore, especially our relationships or our jobs, or, things that we keep doing that are, we don't like it. We don't want to be here. I don't want to have to do this, whatever it is. I was thinking of like, and I'm not in this situation, but for whatever reason it came up. Like if you were volunteering somewhere and you've been doing it for years and you just don't want to anymore, but you feel like, well, I've been doing it, so I have to keep showing up. And then you get that moment where it's like, I'm going to stop doing this, and nobody's making you, right? There's like this pressure, but it's like imagined, right? And so when you decide to break ties with this thing that no longer works for you, and then there's a sense of maybe, some sadness and feeling kind of bad or whatever, but then followed by the relief and the knowledge that you have this open time, right? You have relieved yourself of this stressor and given yourself more space in your life to do things that you want, to get creative, to maybe hopefully, find something that you are enjoying. And so I see this as being kind of one of the big focuses of this next cycle of time. And I'm sorry, I'm taking a drink. That was kind of loud. I could even hear it, really. Okay, so we have carriages. One going this way, one going this way. This one looks like the horse is running. So there's a lot of back and forth back and forth, back and forth. And I feel like it's like you are, maybe you have to travel for work, you're commuting, or maybe you have like shared custody and you have to take kids back and forth, or it feels like something like this, where it's like it's not for pleasure. It's something you have to do. But I feel like this is something that maybe this is coming to an end pretty quickly here. And maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is, one of the factors, the stressors in your life where it's not working for you. Now that's not you're not like giving up custody of your kids by nothing like that, but like I feel like you're open to compromise. You're open to trying things out a different way. Where usually I don't think you'd be super open, because let's face it, you're a Taurus, you like things how you like them. Okay, that's fine. But I do feel like, yeah, you're open to some compromise. I think probably, and I don't know about you, but this really happens to me. Sometimes it takes a certain amount of discomfort before I'm finally like, all right, let's just try it. I know it's not going to work, but let's try it. That's exactly what I sound like. So I do see this being a shift, okay? Now, we also have a volcano over here. We have smoke, but it is off to the side. So I almost kind of feel like where things have been volatile, there is a sense of peace returning. So I do wonder if this is like an ex, maybe you share custody or something like this, or maybe you're like a grandparent that's taking care of the kids at certain points of the week, or maybe you have custody of your grandkids and, you're trying to figure things out with your children or child who maybe wants custody back, or, something. But it's complicated, but it is all coming from a place of love on all sides, ultimately. But I do feel like at times there have been choices that could have probably been a little different on all sides, and maybe a bit of disrespect here and there. But I feel like there is a sense of ease where things start to get into a groove. And I think, it's not like these huge parts of your life have to change for this to get right, for everybody to get straight and everybody's happy and, going forward. But yeah, it's adjustments, little adjustments, compromises. And I see you being much more willing to do that. And I feel like it's going to be the thing that really calms that, explosive, reactionary kind of disposition on their side and your side. Okay? Now, I want to turn this. We have the letter W. That seems really important today. Maybe somebody with a W name. We also have, it looks like maybe an older feminine person. Here's the head and here's the body and the feet down here. Over here, it looks like we have a fish. And we have the person here and a person here. It almost feels like maybe you grew up in a family setting where money and wealth and abundance of material things was super important, and very like being very showy and letting people know we have some money and, you know, all that kind of thing. And I feel like for you, although of course, you know, we all like to have some money, but I don't feel like that was like your number one motivator. I feel like there's a real sense of you not turning your back on, and especially I feel like this is either a grandmother or a mother, not turning your back on them, but being firm in deciding that you're not going to live with the same priorities. Okay. And so to some degree, I feel like you did have to like break away. But I think that through this, you found a lot of peace in the world, you know, knowing that there's a lot of ways to live. There's a lot of things to do and see and you know, be in love with and despise and try and fail and succeed and all the things, right? And so I do feel like you spent, especially in your youth, probably some time doing things like, I don't know, maybe being like a minimalist, trying to live like more ethically as far as like finances and the resources that you're using and, you know, how much you're using of stuff and so on and so forth. And I could see you being a very like community minded person. Okay. But I also think that as you have probably gotten older, I think that you are more aware that you also have to take care of yourself. Like there's nothing noble about, neglecting yourself and giving everything to the world. Right. I do, you know, I don't know. I feel like, especially in spiritual paths, we kind of mix up the idea that it is a big choice to devote yourself, to maybe kind of a, well, what's the word? Living the life of a monk, right? Or somebody who kind of departs from the collective, kind of becomes like this cloistered person, being you're only focused on the spiritual work and so on and so forth. You have to abandon, you know, all worldly things. And we mix this up with, yeah, kind of, I don't know, like it's like a aesthetic, right? To live more simply, to, you know, just, I don't even know exactly what I'm trying to get at here, but it feels like for you, you have lived through maybe both extremes. And this is not unlike, you know, if you've ever read like Siddhartha, or, anything about the Buddhas, you know, there's this idea that if you if you have like a stringed instrument, right? Like a harp, if you pull the wire, the string too tight, it's going to snap when you play it. If you let it too loose, it's going to, you know, be slack and it won't play. But if you have it just right down the middle way, right, then it will play beautifully. So I feel like you're at the point in your life where you're realizing like, yes, I am a spiritual being and I am somebody devoted to my relationship with whatever you call it. But I also, you know, like to have the things that I like to have, and I want to live my life, you know, maybe not extravagantly, but somewhat comfortably. And it's okay to worry about worldly things. These are not mutually exclusive, that you can be spiritual or you can be worldly. No. So I feel like you're really at this place where you are finding a really happy balance, or you're at least beginning to find that. Okay, you're on the path to. Now, we also have, okay, I gotta hurry. We also have over here, it looks like a lot of stress, okay? I feel like you have just been going round and round trying to figure something out. I don't know what it is, but it seems like something not super like dire, but something important. Like you're planning a family trip and you're trying to get everybody's, schedule aligned so that can happen. If you've ever done something like this, it might sound like, well, who cares? That's not that big of a deal. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I feel like, there's a moment here where you just absolutely, it's almost like hulking out, right? You just want to lose it. But I see you employing your mindfulness, finding your peace, bringing yourself back in and allowing all of these stressors, these annoyances, this and that, and, people pulling you in every direction, endless questions, and I want, and I needs, and whatever, and allowing yourself to just be there. Just be among it. Not letting it take over. Not letting it, just rule your day. And that's a big deal. That's big work. I mean, that would be for me because I often find myself succumbing to the stress of things and the anxiety, and I will get in a bad mood. Absolutely. When I'm overstimulated, I will start to get in a bad mood, and I try to catch myself, but not always. So this kind of work, not easy, but maybe the most important thing we talked about in here. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 lucky numbers. 11, 36, and 77. All right. And I'm just going to finish with our Indigo Sage affirmation cards and flip and stop where it feels right. Oh, we have is it this way? Yeah, we have a beautiful little butterfly or a moth, and it says 30, destiny expanded. Are you ready to fly with the creative spirit into the depths of metamorphosis? Yes, I am. All right, Taurus, I love you and I thank you for being here with me today. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I want to tell you again, I love you. Please take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.